without a doubt, content is the highest lever that you can pull for growing your online coaching or consulting business. But that being said, if you're still doing things the old way, as we'll call it for the sake of this video, you are kind of being like the Joker in this image, to be completely blunt. You are setting fire to piles and piles of cash that you could otherwise have, spend, reinvest, all of that stuff. Not great. Now, of course, nobody wants to be in that position, so let me show you in this video the new way to do content that's aligned with the state of the market in 2026. So that way you can go ahead and get more eyes on your offer, capture that demand that exists already, and get more leads, more conversions, more sales, all of that lovely stuff. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So this is the main thing that I really need you to understand. Information is no longer a scarce thing. In fact, it is incredibly abundant and therefore incredibly commoditized. In fact, right now, there is more information out there than we actually know what to do with. Large language models like ChatGPT and Claude have made acquisition of information easier than ever. Billions and billions of YouTube videos are being uploaded every week. A large share of those are obviously going to be a part of your niche, and more content keeps getting uploaded onto the internet across the board. And this is exactly why interest in information alone has been dwindling in recent months. After tons of people have built up huge followings just based on solely the distribution of info, it's becoming very clear that information in isolation is not what makes people successful. As Leonardo da Vinci so aptly put it, knowing is not enough, we must apply, and being willing is not enough, we must actually go ahead and do the thing. So we need to actually act on the information that we're getting. Because here's the truth of the matter. If information was enough on its own, then everybody would be able to succeed, because everybody can acquire information. And these days, it's even easier than ever to do. So, of course, everybody already knows what they need to do right now. The only caveat to this is that they either do not believe that they can do it, they either don't have the time to do it, or they don't have the time to invest to actually get good at it. That thing being, of course, whatever information that you are giving out within your space. Now, if you think about it for a second, this is literally why services have always existed since the dawn of time. This is why we have always been happy to pay another person to do something for us. So again, let me just go over these 3 key points. They either are going to not believe that they can do it, they're going to think that they don't have the time to act upon the information, or they're going to think that they don't have enough time to invest to actually get good at acting upon the information. So, like, duh, info alone is not going to change that. Info alone cannot do anything to address those 3 key points. So knowledge actually doesn't really matter as much anymore. And it's because, like I said, anyone can use an LLM and basically act like they know it all and just pretend to be super knowledgeable about something when they're not. So it's not the knowledge, it's the application of that knowledge that actually sets you apart nowadays. It's not about telling people that you know the information. It's about showing them exactly what it is that you can do with it. So of course, how do you go ahead and apply this new rule to your content strategy right now? Well, let's go ahead and let's see how you can do that yourself. Or just a side note here, alternatively, you can have us go ahead and deal with the whole content strategy application thing for you. So I just want to let you know, here's the deal. For a limited time only, me and my team are giving away full marketing and sales audits free of charge. What you're going to get in these documents is you will get a full pipeline and brand breakdown from us. So that's expert eyes from the outside, which is invaluable, and people pay thousands of dollars to get that kind of treatment. You'll know exactly the areas that you need to double down on to break through whatever current revenue ceiling that you're hitting. You can basically just go ahead and skip months of trial and error, because we're going to get this through to you within 72 hours. That's right. You can save potentially months of doing the wrong thing because you're going to get us to go through it and get this document through to you within 72 hours. Now, of course, look, I've been in direct marketing for about 3 years, so I'm well aware that, when something is offered for free, it's kind of suspicious, okay? Like, there's usually a catch there. Well, I can tell you that the only catch is that it's going to take up to 72 hours to get it through to you. It's not an instant thing. So if you want to go ahead and take advantage and claim one of these free comprehensive audits for yourself, all you need to do is just go to the link below in the description, this link here, and you'll be able to go ahead and jump on a quick call with me personally. Yes, not a setter, closer, member of my team. No, me personally. I don't want you to jump on there with some random person you don't know. And we go ahead and talk about arranging getting this audit through to you. Now that might make you wonder, okay, well, why am I giving away something that's so valuable for completely free? That doesn't really make sense, right? Well, because why not? I've not seen anybody in any of my parallel spaces that are offering this level of service for completely free. So why don't I be the first? And to me, it shows that I'm able to move with a level of confidence that most people simply can't. So that's the reason why. So the last thing I'm going to say on the matter is this. I physically cannot give these away forever. Given how much is in them and the level of attention to detail, the fact that what is in these documents literally changes lives, I can promise you that. I will have to go ahead and take this off the table the very second it starts eating into my company's sustainability, which, not gonna lie, is not gonna be very long. This isn't even a fake urgency thing, I don't even need to use that, it's just true, because I should be charging for this stuff. So, whilst you still can, go ahead, take advantage. The link is in the description. So I have found there are 3 kinds of videos that you can make, basically, that are super duper effective at going ahead and getting people in. That is not just dumping info on them, but actually addressing those 3 key objections that I mentioned before. So that is no belief, no time, or no time to investigate good. The 3 main objections that anybody's ever going to have to acting upon any piece of information that they get. These 3 videos are the best possible thing that you can do to deal with that. So the first kind of video that I would recommend you make is belief shifting. If somebody holds beliefs that are limiting and not going to guide them towards actually acting upon the information that you give them, that's not going to happen. No amount of time or effort invested in this person is going to change the way that they behave or is going to change their mind. They need to deal with their beliefs. This is how you can basically do that. So this works simply because information alone cannot change a person's thought patterns. You have to take a very different approach. You can't just give somebody a bunch of things and then just expect them to think, yeah, I can 100% go ahead and do that, because that's not how it works. But we'll talk about just specifically YouTube videos here. It's suitable for that content format. What I mean by this is essentially, if you get on a sales call with somebody or a discovery call, whatever it is, you are not going to go ahead and change their entire belief system and give them like an ego death in 5 to 20 minutes. It's just not going to happen. But a video that they can watch before they get on that call that's going to help them sort of recalibrate their thought processes, that's effective. So then when they actually jump on the call with you, they have already sort of shifted their beliefs, or they've shifted to a point where they're kind of just on the very edge of being able to jump into that entirely new belief system. But essentially, then it would only take just a few words from you to kind of shatter those previous thought patterns, and then they'll actually have belief in the solution and believe that they can actually do this and all that stuff. So any piece of content that's specifically geared to changing the way that somebody thinks about something in your niche, that will prove effective. Please go ahead and make that kind of video. Start getting them out there. And so that now takes us to the second kind of video type, which this is a great image, I think, to actually illustrate this. I couldn't find anything better, to be honest. But I'm going to just call this kind of video type the expert opinion. So obviously, you are the expert in your niche, or at least you should be. I don't know why you're operating in a niche that you're not kind of an expert in. That's a bit crazy. But this is going to be effective because viewers are going to actually walk away from that piece of content with something valuable. It's a big step up just simply giving information. You're now giving information, or a take on information, I should say, that's actually charged with an expert's opinion. That's something that you can't just get from another person that's regurgitating random facts. If you've got somebody with actual expertise, that is you, giving an actual opinion on something, so that could be maybe a tier list video. So you've got a bunch of different things and you kind of rank them and talk you through why. That's such an effective video format. Or you've got things like roast videos, which is basically you sit and you break down like somebody else's take on a problem, basically, and explain what they did well, what they did not so well. Do kind of a behind the scenes video where you sit with a client, for instance, and talk them through the process of what they need to change to get to the actual dream state, have that transformation happen. So all of that then basically feeds into this applied thinking. And applied thinking shows that you actually know what you're talking about and that you're not just regurgitating facts. So I used to laugh a lot when I used to kind of float around the old business opportunity spaces like a few years ago. And there was a lot of things like copywriting gurus, for instance. They would kind of frame themselves as these authority figures, like they were like copywriting gods and they knew how to sell and do anything. But then what they would do is when they do things like live demonstrations of them writing out sales letters or comms or whatever, they'd actually write out just the worst thing ever. So if you're kind of just regurgitating facts and you're sort of a guru grifter type person, like, it's going to show when you try and do applied thinking based content like this. But if you're an expert, do this, and it's going to show that you've got a level of understanding that is going to help alleviate a lot of skepticism in your leads' brains. And now that takes us to the third kind of video format that you should 100% work on, and that is what I'm just going to call the systems and processes. If you can make a video on a system or a process, like a deep dive, that's going to demonstrate enormous amounts of competence up front. Because what you're basically doing is showing that you can organize things, arrange things. This is a level of competence that you simply kind of can't fake. And it shows you actually going ahead and doing your job. So it proves that you're competent. It's also going to be something that prospects can actually get use out of. So for instance, this is kind of a system video in and of itself. I'm basically giving you content formats that you can take and you can go ahead and run with them. That's something that's actually useful. I'm not just giving you facts, I'm giving you something that you can take and actually use, which is an enormous difference. That's implementation. That's the kind of thing that we want. And it's also like a behind the scenes of how you work, like I said. It shows you basically doing your job, which is organizing these things, showing how you would do that. And it's just really, really effective because of that. So instead of just going ahead and dumping a load of info onto your leads, you're giving them genuine value and showcasing your competence up front. That is the difference. This is the thing that's going to protect you from the fact that there's too much information out there, because your take on implementation, your take on systems, an expert's opinion, and being able to actually change the way that people think, that's real influence. That's actually going to protect you and safeguard you from the situation that we're in. That's going to stop you from getting commodified, because those are unique takes on things that grifters, AI, nothing can replicate. They can't imitate you in that way at all. This is the kind of thing that's going to make you pretty much invincible to the market conditions. So thank you for going ahead and getting through to the end of this video. I really appreciate it. And remember, there's that link in the description so you can go ahead and claim yourself a free comprehensive audit. Seriously, it's a no-brainer offer. Take advantage while you still can. And I will leave you with this. Skills, i.e. what you're going to demonstrate by using these content formats, get your foot in the door, definitely. You're already going to be a major step ahead of people that can only really just spew facts and information and nothing else. But what I can say is that your brand, that is thoughts, feelings, and emotions associated with you as a person, the way that you present yourself, that is what's going to get you specifically chosen over others after you've demonstrated your skills and your competence. So if you want to go ahead and learn all about the importance of branding and how that's going to help you after you adopt these content formats for yourself, check out this video here that I've got linked up on screen. It's what I've aptly called the unpatchable infinite money glitch that not even World War III can stop, because that's basically what branding is. It's that powerful. Be sure to go and check it out, and until next time, I'll see you in the next video.